All right, welcome back to another edition of Dear Ron. Cameron Ivy here at Transcend, alongside Ron DeJesus, the man himself. Ron, how are you?
I'm good, Cam. How's it going today?
It's going well, but
Drink that coffee. I
that
saw
is
you had some coffee.
that is the life. What are you sipping on over there?
I have sparkling water today.
All right, that's usually your go-to though.
Yeah, I've had about 3 cups of coffee already today.
Sometimes in the afternoon, I'll usually do a matcha with oat milk and ice and honey. Oh,
That sounds really good.
yeah, slap it on me. All right, let's do this. We're cutting this anyways. Nah, we're going to leave it in. All right. Dear Ron, the California Privacy Protection Agency fined Honda for $632,500. They fined them for a number of CCPA violations, right? What can companies do to avoid making the same mistake that Honda did and comply with other privacy laws moving forward?
First of all, Cam, yeah, it does seem like chump change, comparatively speaking to other fines may have seen from other regulators on big tech. So this happened a couple of years ago. They did a sweep on the connected car space. It gives an indication and a signal of where their enforcement priorities lie, regardless of the fine. And now we're just seeing the fruits of that labor in terms of their investigation. I think this is an interesting case because the CPPA is essentially saying we aren't supposed to be requiring immense amounts of personal information to validate a user's identity simply for wanting to exercise the right to opt out of the sale or sharing. So companies should look at their processes and ensure that they're not collecting extraneous amounts of personal information for something as simple as an opt-out request like this. So I think that's the first thing. I think the second thing that's really critical for businesses to understand is that when it comes to offering consumers choice to opt out of cookies, it should be as easy to opt out as it is to opt in. So if you have an accept all button, for example, you should probably have a reject all button and not require me as a user to toggle a million different options to opt out. It should be as easy for me to exercise my right to opt out as it is for me to accept all the cookies that you want me to accept. Operationally speaking, your consent management platform should be equitable in terms of those choices.
Ron, do you think that some of these types of cases are common because these companies are using legacy privacy tools, so it kind of limits the company and their options to provide to the consumer a fair opt-in, opt-out situation? Is that what we were kind of seeing here with this?
It's a great follow-up question, Cam. I don't necessarily think it's the result of the use of a specific platform. I will say that there are platforms out there that offer more streamlined ways to do this, Transcend being one of them. But I do think it's incumbent upon companies to make sure that these platforms and these tools are offering choices that are compliant with the CCPA and the guidance put out there by the CPPA. So to answer your question, I don't think it's a result of the use of a specific platform. That being said, there are certainly better platforms out there that offer more streamlined choices and that help you to better operationalize what you should be doing when it comes to consumer choice, which is, again, making sure that it's equally as easy for me to accept all as it is to reject all. So it's a great question.
If you were a CPO at any organization, what's one thing that you would take away from this to kind of move forward?
Yeah, Cam, if I was a CPO still in-house operationalizing my own program, what I would take away from this is a little bit broader. I would actually look at my current DSAR process and make sure that every choice that I provide a consumer, whether it's the right to opt out, whether it's the right to access, whether it's the right to delete, that these processes are made as simple and as easy and as straightforward as possible for individuals to exercise. Not buried in menus, not ultra complicated, not requiring multi-step processes. I think streamlining every right that an individual has would be my takeaway from this. Again, yes, I know this is focusing on the specifics around, the opt-out of sale or share, but I think we can make the entire DSAR kind of ecosystem as streamlined as possible for consumers is a good thing. And that's my takeaway.
We can drink to that.